So, what's up people, we got something a little different. Here's a look at some of Staten Island's most notable crimes to date. Let's begin with Salvatore Peroni, a 64-year-old garment salesman, was convicted and sentenced earlier this year to 75 years to life in prison for the murder of 3 Brooklyn shopkeepers in separate incidents. Peroni, dubbed Son of Sal by his neighbors because of his odd ways, was accused of shooting the victims to death with a sawed-off rifle while they worked alone in their stores. In court documents, Peroni said he told cops he was a CIA operative paid by Arab men to kill Jews. Richard Begenwald, serial killer of young women, with the anniversary of his arrest date, January 22, 1983. Last week, we returned to one of Staten Island's most notorious serial killers, Richard Begenwald. Begenwald admitted to killing 6 people along the Jersey Shore between 1981 and 1983, after he already served 17 years for another murder. 3 of the bodies of young women that he killed were buried at his mother's home on Schrotz Road in Charleston. A jury found Begenwald guilty on all 5 counts of first-degree murder. Begenwald died at the age of 67 on March 10, 2008 in St. Francis Medical Center in Trenton, New Jersey, of respiratory and kidney failure, according to his autopsy report. Andre Rand. Convicted serial kidnapper Andre Rand, perhaps the most notorious suspected serial killer, is serving consecutive 25 years to life sentences for 2 kidnapping convictions. He will be eligible for parole in 2037, when he'll be 93 years old. In October 2004, the Manhattan native was found guilty in the abduction of Holly Ann Hughes, 7, as she walked on a street in her Port Richmond neighborhood 23 years earlier. Her body was never found. Rand was also convicted in 1988 for the abduction of Westerlo resident Jennifer Schweiger, 12, in July 1987. Her body was found a month after her disappearance in a shallow grave on the grounds of the former Willowbrook State School, now the College of Staten Island. Rand is also suspected to be responsible for several other disappearances dating to 1972 on Staten Island, including 2 young girls. Rand's kidnappings were also the subject of the documentary Crouppy, directed by 2 Staten Island natives. Liza Jones slit her children's throats and burned house down. 32-year-old Liza Jones's autopsy report shows that she slit 3 of her children's throats with a razor blade and then set her home on Nicholas Avenue ablaze, killing herself and all 4 of her children. The youngest perished in the flames with her. The NYPD originally thought Liza's eldest son, 14-year-old son, C.J. Raymond, was responsible for the murders, but the theory was overturned when a butane lighter was found near Ms. Jones' body, along with a note with the words "I'm sorry" still legible. The handwriting was found to match the writing in a diary that Jones kept by forensic handwriting experts. Family photo: Elena Kielich's killed husband and head lover disposed of body. Todd Till resident Elena Kielich was found guilty and given 22 years to life with an eligible parole date of June 2024 for the 2002 killing of her millionaire husband, Boris Kielich. Elena killed her husband because he threatened financial ruin after they argued over money, divorcing and her affair with Messiah Justice, a felon. Justice testified in the case that Elena killed her husband in the basement of their East Loop Road home and he later dumped the body in a cardboard barrel into an inlet near the Brooklyn-Queens border. Staten Island advance Rob Sollitt, the Nimer murders. 8-year-old Melvin Nimer was questioned in 1990 and never charged with the stabbing death of his parents in the family's Vanderbilt Avenue home in Clifton. No arrests were ever made in the case. Nimer has denied the allegations. To see a graphic of the depiction of the events that unfolded according to Melvin Nimer, Eric Bellucci, convicted of stabbing parents to death. Eric Bellucci was accused of stabbing his parents Arthur and Marion Bellucci to death in their Poylan Avenue home on October 13, 2010. He then escaped to Israel, where he was arrested and returned to the United States. Bellucci, who had an upper-class upbringing, and has a bachelor's degree and attended law school, claims he was acting in self-defense because his parents institutionalized him and stole his guns and truck after hearing about his plots to kill them. Over the years, Bellucci has been deemed unfit to stand trial, and mentally capable of standing trial. He was convicted this year and sentenced to life without parole. Jonathan Crouppy, school teacher who violently murdered wife. Jonathan Crouppy, 33, a former school teacher, was sentenced on September 13, 2015 to 25 years to life in prison for the July 5, 2012 murder of his spouse, Simeonette Mapes Crouppy, in their New Springville townhouse. Crouppy and his wife were having marital issues allegedly stemming from his affinity for hookers. At his sentencing, Crouppy maintained his innocence and claimed he did not kill his wife. Prosecutors said Crouppy pushed his spouse, a fellow teacher at a Brooklyn high school, down the interior stairs of their home during an argument. He then stabbed her 15 times, killing her, prosecutors said. Crouppy then tried to stage the murder as a crime scene. Thomas Kamerlingo gruesome murder of parents. A jury found Kamerlingo guilty of murder and sentenced him to 50 years to life in prison for the decapitation and dismemberment of his parents in 1990. He's currently in prison at the Clinton Correctional Facility and has a shot at parole in 2045 according to public records. Kamerlingo told investigators that his parents had been replaced by Egyptians and that he had to get rid of them. Dolly murder suspect Anthony Lopez was spotted wheeling the lifeless body of his wife, Obiamaka Aduba, 26, down a Mariners Harbor Street on a dolly on May 20. Authorities allege Lopez, 31, was eventually apprehended in East Harlem's 23rd precinct. The next day, the source said. He was taken into custody following a manhunt using helicopters and dogs. Prosecutors say the cause of death was strangulation. Lopez was arraigned in Richmond County Supreme Court before Judge William Garnett on May 22. Lopez pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder. He was remanded without bail. Aduba's father told NY1 at the time that she was about 4 months pregnant and that the two had been married for nearly 3 years. All these stories we will get back to. In the meantime, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.